Last mission. Final boss mode.
Right. You know, so
now this damn bullshit ass PBC rollout.
Yeah, speaking of that, and because we're talking about obviously these fighters that that aren't fighting. So I'm thinking to myself, when they said they were going to announce the rollout on Saturday, I was like, okay, too, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, PBC had a fire Showtime rollout, super fire, like something that you want,
Nah, it was fire. I ain't gonna say super fire, and all that shit would have been on regular Showtime. They said we got 2 pay-per-views.
Referee LB is docking points for pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have got away with the Tank pay-per-view. I give you that, because Tank buzzing.
That shit was not pay-per-view. That shit was not.
Honestly, I feel like maybe not. I was gonna say a Charlo doubleheader is more of a pay-per-view than a damn Tank.
A Charlo doubleheader against fucking Canelo and damn Danny Jacobs. Yes, that's pay-per-view. Not Derevyanchenko and not fucking Rosario. Those are 2 Fox fights, my nigga. Like, let's be honest.
I agree. I was just saying, given the choice between the 2 of them, I think one is more. I don't think either of them are worthy for pay-per-view fights. But I think the Charlo brothers on pay-per-view is worth more pay-per-view.
Because you gotta say, remember you're saying Charlo brothers.
But that's the
appeal. If it was just one or the other, it wouldn't be pay-per-view. Yeah. You're comparing 2 fights to Tank.
But they're a package deal in this case. Yeah. So that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, no, separately, they should not.
I don't remember them fighting together last time.
Oh, yeah, and that was a whole bunch of fuckery.
Yeah, so it's like, all I'm saying is that at least I feel like Tank had the name, and Leo Santa Cruz, like, they got the name and the stature and their divisions. And if you promote that shit could really be big as a pay-per-view event. Whereas
they're not gonna promote that shit.
If it was on Fox pay-per-view, yeah, but Showtime, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna amount to much. But either way, like, even if you said Tank, Santa Cruz was regular, and Charlo was pay-per-view, then that still would have been bad. I'd have still complained. Because I mean, we've gotten so many higher level fights on paper or on regular Showtime than Tank, Leo Santa Cruz. It's like, really?
That is true.
I mean, let's call it like it is. They're giving them pay-per-view fights to basically give them more money. Because if it was on regular Showtime or regular Fox, these fights wouldn't be happening. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah, because
but at the same time, like, how much more money they think they're gonna get because it being on pay-per-view since damn how you niggas really think people gonna be buying these fights like that?
Well, let's put it this way, man. Like, I've always brought this up about PBC. Like, they always said they were gonna bring pay-per-view level fights to regular TV, and they were always talking about HBO having pay-per-view fights.
Well, they did, and then they kind of reneged on it.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah. So it's like,
once they because that's a byproduct of them realizing they're paying their fighters too much. So then they want their fighters to now fight each other, and now they're like, well, if I'm going to fight this person, I want this amount, and they can't give them that amount.
Yeah, basically.
So they created a monster.
So basically, they checked it themselves.
And I mean, Pat kind of called this. Unfortunately, he called this years ago. So he's right.
Yeah. I mean, I was there, nigga. I mean, I was there with him when he calling that shit.
Yeah, no, but Pat was way more vocal than you.
Because he still is.
Yes, like, you were hype man in that. You were hype man in that nigga.
Trying to wanted to whoop my ass, even though that would have been a problem for them, not me, though. I
was a split star in that shit. I mean, like, I was like, Pat have his moment and like, yeah, he right. Fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be the dude on the outro and shit, and now this shit came to fruition.
Yeah.
Like, but it just the Showtime is overshadowing the bullshit Fox is doing, because Fox is pretty much giving us top level contenders or former champs and having them fight career mode bouts.
You know, basically,
like,
you know, people will complain about the top ranked Summer Series fights too. Like the Fox World is literally the same thing.
Maybe even worse, because I feel like the top ranked, you know, summer bouts had at least 4 or 5 like good matchup ass fights, bro. Like,
yeah, no, this one, and let me just run them down, man. I was like, okay, the first one is on August 22nd, and they had Sean Porter, you know, after coming off that violent war he had with Spence, is going to be facing a German cat named Sebastian Formella. And I follow Euro boxing. I've never even heard of this guy. You know, he's 22-0 with 10 knockouts. And apparently this is
so this is another Eric Boone fight, fight, or what?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And now with Porter, he's had some hard fights, so I'm not knocking. It's just, it's not a Fox level card. That's for damn sure.
Nah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, trash next.
However, though, the fight that does interest me, though, it's undercard fight, is Sebastian Fundora. You know, the 6'5", 6'6", 154 pounder,
facing Nathaniel Gallimore.
Yeah, facing Rosario's conqueror Nathaniel Gallimore. So I mean, that fight is at least has some interest to me, because I think Fundora will get flattened at some, you know, in this fight. You know, it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's a decent. That's you know, that's some good Reggie.
Yeah, you know, and surprisingly, it's probably the best fight out of the rundown as I'm going through this. And then also too, and of course, their prospect Joey Spencer is going to be on that card, and Joey Spencer is, yeah, I don't know why they pushed that guy. However, though, this fight's actually going head to head with the Eleider Alvarez and Joe Smith card too, and that card is actually that card's better than this. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I know what I'll be watching, and that's gonna be on regular Fox. Yeah, stream game, like.
Yeah, ESPN. Well, actually, that Eleider Alvarez, I think it's on ESPN Plus, if I'm not mistaken.
Either way, it's still a better fight. So.
Word. And then what's even? However, the next card is even more horseshit. And then we were worried about this. Erislandy Lara. You know, I mean, last time out, I mean, he faced Canelo's bum brother in a fight. I remember I watched that shit in the car after I was coming back from eating buffet, and I'm thinking to myself, why is this shit even on TV?
And that's the problem. Like, how many tune-up fights this nigga need, man?
Yeah. And so in doing so now we're, because, you know, I guess he has some deal where he has to be like the main event on some cards. So on a Fox card, he's getting another gimme against someone who actually from my area, Massachusetts, around my area, Greg Vendetti. You know, 22-3-1 with 12 knockouts. Like, Laura has a gimme pretty much, unless Laura slipped back. Like, Laura should probably end this fight probably within 3 rounds, max. And then, of course, this fight has the Angulo Caleb Truex fight in the Eliminator as its undercard, which doesn't make any sense to it, because that's probably the better fight on paper, even though I think that fight's horse shit too.
So hold on, you got 2 undercard fights that are better than the main event, but y'all just pawning the main event off because y'all got one top level fighter that we know of and some guy sparring partner we fighting.
Yeah.
Fucking PBC and these stargazing ass cards.
I'm saying.
Well, what's the next one? I know you got another trash. You know, there's still more trash in the bucket.
Yeah, and this is a Sunday night card, actually, September 6th. This is Ugas. Ugas is facing Abel Ramos. 26-3-2, 20 knockouts. I think Abel Ramos, he was the one that had like that 1 second knockout, or the last second knockout, really at the last second, earlier this year. I mean, either way, I think Ugas should be facing someone better. I mean, you beat Omar Figueroa, you took his 0. Like, his competition's been kind of off. I mean, he faced Mike Dallas this year. Mike Dallas Jr., the one who Lucas slept in 1 round. I mean,
yeah, like,
and then he's going to.
I mean, what they gonna bring out? Mike Jones next? Does Randall Bailey need a fight? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, though. I mean, Ugas at this point, if you like, because they talk about Ugas as a, you know, as someone who's gonna be a major player at welterweight one day. They need to match him like one. Seriously.
See, and that's my thing with PBC is like you got all these names, and it's like they take forever to match them up. Like, it's like they have the same problem that Top Rank has, is making certain in-house fights. But I feel like since PBC has so many guys, you kind of get certain in-house fights faster than others. Whereas Top Rank, they'll have like 5 in-house fighters, and it's like they play Ring Around the Rosie, musical chairs until they finally get a deal done. You're like, damn.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, because like they have more than enough fighters. They could have made some interesting Fox fights. So that's the reason why and the reason why I'm just like, this Rollout is just like no. And then the co-main is a favorite, or a quote unquote a favorite. Was it Rancis Bartholomew? He's back.
Oh no.
Yeah, we've had enough of this guy already.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, if you saw his last fight, which is probably the worst fight of the year, which is saying something, against Robert Easter Jr., you're pretty much over him. I mean, I've never seen such a poor fight in my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least Easter kind of redeemed himself with the Granados fight. Bartholomew, no.
Yeah, but and then he's actually facing a prospect from the Dominican Republic.
Is he a puncher?
He is 17-0 with 9 knockouts. So he's over 50% at least.
Damn. See, if y'all done put him with.
Yeah, Alberto.
So I thought you was about to say, well, he's 17 with 14 knockouts.
Yeah, no.
I was like, yes, okay, the entry.
Someone that can actually beat Bartholomew. Yeah, someone who can actually hurt him. But
knock his ass out. Fuck, that's yeah, this kid could beat him, but.
And of course, they've been announced their one lone pay-per-view so far, with Danny Garcia and Errol Spence, which we've mentioned before. We've had
Fox not giving up Spence, yo.
Well, I mean, that's the only pay-per-view that they announced, but they have another one kind of in the making, because they have that December 26th date as a pay-per-view slot. So I'm wondering what fight is going to be announced for that. That's like literally the only thing I'm intrigued by.
Yeah, and they have
that's
that.
Gonna be for the chance for Sean Porter pay-per-view.
I mean, it has to be Manny Pacquiao. I mean,
yes, I'm thinking either two things. I was thinking either Manny Pacquiao, or possibly that might be the Wilder Fury pay-per-view. But I don't know if they're gonna count that, because that's a cold pay-per-view thing. So I don't know if that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be it.
Wouldn't that be on ESPN?
I mean, the last one was co-promoted, like between what wasn't it, ESPN and Fox?
No, it was on Fox though. I mean, they aired that show.
Oh, it was on Fox. Well, there's a chance it might be that. Then who knows?
Yeah, but
that fight was supposed to. Yeah, but I mean, it depends on. If it's gonna be Manny, it's probably gonna be Pacquiao, fucking Mikey Garcia, which yawn.
Yeah, I'm not too hyped for that fight.
If it's Pacquiao Thurman too, though,
both coming off of good wins though, so I give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be no Pacquiao Thurman too. That's wishful thinking right there.
Yeah, I know. It's pie in the sky. I'm like, I said that knowing it's pie in the sky.
But then I want Thurman to, have a fight already before he just jump in with Pacquiao again. Like, he's the young guy, like. But he should already fought somebody and be alright.
I guess he's not gonna fight this year.
Tell me something not new.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, as I mentioned before, Thurman just wants to, play music on his wooden kazoo and be all up on his wife, man.
He was supposed, because remember, he was going to be out for the beginning of the year anyway, because he got the hand surgery. So he wasn't even supposed to be back until like July, and then the pandemic thing kind of just fucking made it all. Yeah. So I think this year's a dub for Thurman.
Yeah.
So many years before.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and I'm a fucking Thurman fan, and I'm saying this shit.
Me too, yeah, me too.
But yeah, there you have it. It's a trash ass rollout for Fox.
Yeah,
like, PBC hoodwinked everybody into thinking, you'll get great fights on free TV, and they delivered, but then they took it back. So, that pizza you ordered from Domino's or Pizza Hut, whatever, imagine them bringing 3 pizzas to your house. You eat one pizza and you start on the second one, and then them niggas show up and take the last one back. Oh, you know that supreme meat pizza that we left you? Yeah, we're gonna need that right back.
Pizza.
Yeah, but like I said, PBC has a whole bunch of FS1 cards, starting from September all the way well into December. So who knows what's gonna be on them? I honestly can't see any.
Yawn. I don't even want to hear that.
The bigger stars be on FS1. It'll be surprised because remember before at FS1 last year, the really good cards PBC had were all those FS1 cards. There was a whole slew of them.
Yeah, hold on, wait. Good. Last year was 2019.
Yeah,
Fox had J-Rock, Hearn, and the Charlo fight at the damn end of the year, right?
Well, J-Rock Hearn was in the summertime. Thing, but they had fights but that
was still on regular Fox though.
Yeah, but the Peterson fight wasn't where Peterson got retired. That was on FS1. That was the fight of the year right there. And then they had the Darrell fight.
That was on FS1. I'm talking about the Charlo Harrison. Wasn't that on Fox?
Yeah, it was on Fox. It was on regular Fox. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Last year you had 2 fights on Fox that was better than anything these niggas damn said this year. And that's my problem. So it keeps going, it keeps fucking just, the value keeps dropping until it's gonna just be damn stick figures fighting on TV or puppets or some shit.
Honestly, if a fight of the year comes out in this rollout, I'd be either it'd be someone that slipped badly or someone was just.
It will be the fight of the year by action. Matchmaking gone wrong.
Because honestly, half these fights aren't even as intriguing as Joshua Franco. I'm sorry, Maloney Franco.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Like I said, people dress it up as PBC. It's PBC. They don't say shit. They say things at the top rank. Oh, Summer Series. Oh, this is trash. Oh, this. But PBC. The PBC people aren't talking about these cards. They're not. They're talking about Spence and Garcia. But there's more to.
Would you talk about the food of a restaurant you didn't enjoy? Are you not hyped to get there? That's like someone saying, a new Taco Bell opened up by me. You're like, nigga, Taco Bell, really? I guess. Who gives a fuck?
It's if you're gonna be hyped about this, you gotta be hyped about at least, you gotta be watching these cards at least, because either way, because if I'm not mistaken, the second card, it didn't get really high ratings at all, and this was on over the air channel. You know what I'm saying? Not a channel that you need a premium or something on there, man. So
yeah, because no one cares about these damn fights, bro. Yeah, that's just the bottom line.
But at least the Fox roll. I just wish. Now, obviously, it's wishful thinking to see that the FS1, the rest of the FS1 fights will be fire. I'd be surprised if that is the case. Most likely you'll probably see your Caleb Plants on them or whatever on those FS1 cards.
I'm good. I'm just done with these. Everybody's struggling to put on decent fights.
Yeah, Showtime took 1 step forward, Fox took 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps back.
And I guess that's what they wanted. It's probably gonna be no type of fights on Fox next year.
I'm saying, it's just if and all it takes though is, it depends on the ratings. If they're not even breaking 700 or even anything like that, then Fox is gonna be why are we putting all this money behind all this shit? They're not promoting this. They're barely promoting it as it is. They've already cut costs of some other stuff. So
it's like I said, bro. Ain't too much promotion you can do for a fucking Taco Bell restaurant or some bullshit nobody really want like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me that probably the most competitive fight on this card. It's a prospect who's probably going to be tested, and then a faded fighter, and then a fighter who's probably getting to the point of being faded. And Gulu and Truex. So it's Oh yeah, everybody, just to mention that August 29th card for PBC is going head to head with Jose Ramirez's Victor Postal card. So just a small mention.
Yeah, good luck, PBC.
Oh man! But before we go into our last and final topic, which we'll be talking about, an animation flick. I mean, I know on Friday, there was a wonderful fight on Eddie Hearn's Mandingo series. I'm always gonna call that shit because, like I said, I mean, just watching that shit it's you're just like, god damn, like I can just picture like scenarios,
I kind of like the vibe though. Like, it makes me feel like a Fight Night Round 2 vibe.
Yeah, like, let's put it this way. I mean, the level of fights on those fight camp cards. I mean, obviously, they're domestic level, they're British level cards, pretty much. I mean, if you follow it, I mean, you recognize some of the fighters on there. I mean, the first one that Eddie had was pretty good. I mean, action-wise, there were fades galore on that one. But like I said, it's domestic level, so I mean, it was just something to watch. It was in the afternoon, and then the one on Friday was the second one. It was in the main event was a women's fight, Terri Harper versus Natasha Jonas. That fight, and the funny things too, like boxing Twitter raved about this fight. I mean, I thought it was a good fight because I like to see blood. Like there was blood. There was some good clean punching. There was some fades thrown in. So I was pleased with it. Although they still need to go
3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. Like
it was a good solid fight, but I didn't get the extra ranting and raving people did about it. Like, I just didn't see it. Like,
I wonder if it's just maybe because of there's a lack of fights on TV or whatever, and then or especially like
no, because then more ranting and raving would have went on those Top Rank fights.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't understand like people. I understood because I thought that shit was fun. Like I thought.
But boxing Twitter is weird. End of story.
Yeah, no, boxing Twitter, like they rave about some of the weirdest shit. And
weirdest shit, like Harper Jonas was a good solid fight. Mm-hmm. But if I don't get a rematch, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. Mm-hmm. It's not a fight of the year. And there you go.
Yeah, it was a very good fight, and a fight that I thought Jonas won.
Yeah, I thought Jonas won too.
Yeah. But the draw was just like. I mean, there was some outrage over it, but yeah, like
it was. I felt like it was a PBC draw, like one guy should have won, but the other person got the benefit of the doubt, and they didn't want him to lose, so they said, "Hey, PBC draw."
If I'm not mistaken, I think Harper is a Hearn fighter, so I think that's probably the reason why that draw happened. I mean, we've seen the Hearn draws before. In fact, a fight coming up in a couple of weeks. Was for most people was a beneficiary of a Hearn draw.
Yeah, like the real women's matchup that we want to see, Pursuit Taylor 2.
Yes, sir.
That fight was a fight of the year candidate.
Legitimate.
That fight was violent as fuck, bloody, mean intentions being thrown all night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the only reason it just got overshadowed by one of the biggest upsets of the year.
Exactly,
that's why, but if more people, I mean, I think a lot of people saw that fight, but I don't know, people just looked at it halfway because they knew the heavyweight fight was coming on next. I don't know, but
well, I will say this too. Usually, if you look out in the crowd, usually people be, I think people like once there will be like a bathroom break. Like you see people not really pay attention, but people will pay attention to this fight. Like once them fades started early. Like, and I remember before, like LB, we were making fun of how Pursuit was actually throwing her punches, but this was effective.
It was landed hard, so it's like,
it work. So it was just like, and then it made it where Taylor had a hard time adjusting, because she wasn't as physical as Person was, and her stamina wasn't on that level either. And that was a 2-minute fight. She wasn't used to fighting at that pace, so it ended up, you got the fades, and they started,
But the way that fight went, like, you felt they gave you 3 minutes of action in 2 minutes though.
Facts. And then in the crowd, like, appreciate it. Like, you see the crowd was in that shit, like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that shit nearly outshined fucking Ruiz Joshua 1. Almost.
Yeah, almost. Because the whole wow factor of just seeing Joshua getting beat up by some plumber, looking dude,
I mean, low key too. That car was probably one of the.
That was one of the top cars of the year, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I mean, he has something special when Chris Algieri's in a good fucking fight, a firefight at that, and scores a knockout. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's like
Chris Algieri been in some good fights. Fuck all that.
No, I mean, that's the fight where that dude got into a fade. Like, I don't say fade in Chris Algieri unless he's getting faded. All that work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that car was. That. So, but yeah, no,
faded up Amir Khan.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, put some respect on Chris Algieri's name.
No, not really, bro. No, I'm good. I'm good on that.
Damn. All right.
He needs to do something.
Palua put hands on your boy.
On whose boy?
On Joshua.
Man, whatever, man. Like I said, I accepted it for what it was because I didn't think I actually thought Ruiz was a good fighter. So just couldn't monitor what he eats. So I mean that's why that loss. I handled it like a mature man. So I was good. If he got knocked up by Wilder, that would have been a problem. I would have been pissed. But
oh Lord, yeah, we would have to send people to go look after you.
Yeah, and the podcast would be super lit.
Can you find out what's wrong with him? Like, he's not answering none of my texts or calls. I don't know. I mean, Joshua did get knocked out by Wilder.
Yeah, pretty much any text you send me would be like, nigga, fuck you. Any text you send me for like the next couple of weeks would be, nigga, fuck you.
Everybody at Ring Game be texting yo.
Exactly.
Oh, Pat go to the show up at everybody's location and surprise throw him through a wall. Oh man. But Harper Jonas was a good fight, but I mean, nothing to just, I don't know. It just wasn't worth the ranting and raving dudes were doing. Like, y'all ain't seen no women's boxing before. Like, the fuck.
I will say this though. I mean, it deserves a rematch, and if they want to throw it on Joshua Pulev, which will give him enough time to do what they need to do, heal up and train, I'll be all for it. Like, it deserves a big. The fight was good enough where it deserves a bigger platform for the rematch.
Yeah, and it was competitive enough. So, I'm not shitting on it. I'm just like, I was just kind of I guess, thrown off by all the extra praise it got. Like, when we've had better fights. Like, yeah, I guess they were sleeping like Canelo and Kovalev were doing when that super bad fight was on that card.
Oh yeah, it's funny too. People get pissed when they say that Canelo got outshined by women's fight. I'm like, the fuck he wants to say? It's the truth.
and then he was snubbed by UFC that night. So I mean,
there's a whole bunch of L's taken.
I mean, that's what you get when you cherry pick like that. Boxing karma kick in.
Facts. The boxing gods will always, they're merciful, but sometimes they don't show any mercy. So you have
to bring him down a notch. Yeah, I don't know, but the boxing gods might step in again if you don't pick a fucking opponent already.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they might be thinking like, I think it's time for this guy to actually job his title in the ring.
He'll get his day. He'll get his day back. He's going to get his day back because Tyson and Roy got pushed back.
Yeah, but
why did he get pushed back though?
Well, money. Make money.
Man, Oscar De La Hoya gave them an extra $500K or some shit. It said, please, please don't fight on Canelo's day.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be a good look for Canelo, the draw of boxing, to.
See, you guys can fight anytime. You niggas can fight on a Sunday, and people would tune in. Like,
Oscar is their contemporary, so he knows what a Tyson and Roy Jones thing will do. He's not stupid. Oscar does a lot of things that are questionable, but he's not stupid to know that he thinks he can compete with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, even faded versions of themselves.
Yeah. He pulled a favorite from his plug. His plug then, had a favorite with Tyson or Roy Jones. Probably called him from the damn El Jefe, probably called from the mansion in Mexico, and he was like, "Yo, man, I grew up watching Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, and but this Canelo kid, no, he's nowhere near as great as you two, but he'll never be if you guys keep outshining him." They're like, yeah, okay, wink, wink.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. They moved that to sometime in November, which is cool with me. I think it's like Thanksgiving weekend now.
Yeah, now they're just gonna have to make it mandatory headgear, and it'll be perfect.
Yeah, none of this no headgear shit.
Load up November with the good fights.
Facts. Oh man, but yeah, that's boxing so far. That's all our boxing topics.